Oh my God. Why don't you sit over there next to
Rod would like to lead us in the pledge.
Please stand. On your back feet. Okay, Michael. Raise the flag. Still stand. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Linton.
Where's the other line?
Back here. Okay. No.
Okay, I can project. Well, you know, I like when we sing "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning," I like to make the change to make it Laguna instead of meadow. So let's also make it vine instead of corn. Okay? There's a bright golden haze on the Laguna. There's a bright golden haze on the Laguna. The vine is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way.
This is a quote from Mark Twain, probably not the best for breakfast, at breakfast. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. Eat a live frog first thing in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day.
Good advice.
Brian. Hi, Brian.
Brian.
Do you want to go around and introduce everybody as president-elect? If you have a guest at your table, raise your hand.
If you have a guest at the table, raise your hand.
Good morning, Sunrisers. Please help us welcome Ian's mom. Her first name is Elena. And Carol, who's visiting us and checking us out. And we hope to see a lot more of Carol.
Morning. Good morning.
I'd like you to welcome my wife Ellie. She's here today. She's part of the program, and you'll hear more from her and I a little later.
Good morning. I'm not bringing a menagerie of animals today, but I'd like to welcome my wife, Susan, of 47 3/4 years. Retired, 46 3/4 years. It's just so much fun. And our Sue's uncle, my uncle, Roy Trenny.
Terry. Rich.
Huh?
Rich.
Hey, Rich. Rich is here. Rich is the first dude this year. How's Doug Emhoff? Have you any compared notes? No, not at all. You got it.
I could be. Yes, with great.
All right, so, always early birds, we've got Diana, she was one of the first people here as cashier, Jerry, treasurer, Linda, secretary, and, who were the greeters? I was so into the computer, I missed who was greeting. Lori, of course. All right, and then we've got our set, everyone that was here at like 6:30 this morning setting up. Nick and Michael are always here. Actually, Bob is always here. What?
I live here.
I know.
Here.
So, thank you. And Michael helped me turn the computer on, and David helped me so that it actually was on the screen. So, David is my hero. And of course, the AD team, I'm gonna add David Mark Raymond there. And, I really appreciate that. And then, the speaker programs, Charlie. Charlie has been doing this for a few years. He's really good at the speaker. And then I want to thank Terry Kelly for planning debunking. That was a lot of work. And Joe's not here, but I want to thank him and Patty for their home for debunking. And sorry you only had one loop of the slideshow. And there we go with Patty. Okay. Diana, come on up.
Do I have to?
Come on up.
I'm coming. She's enjoying it. She sees. Brilliant.
Diana, why don't you open this thing? This is just something that the club thought you might like. You thought you already just had the birdhouse.
I had a birthday and a fantastic cake and a beautiful party.
Microphone.
Fantastic cake and a beautiful party, and I just want to thank everyone very much for being there. I had a great time, but thank you. Now I've got one more present, oh my gosh.
Just when you think it's over.
Yeah.
Just keep on coming.
Anybody on? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's sweet.
You love that?
I love this. It's in memory of my husband with his badge. So sweet. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you.
That's your box. Linda, how about a membership moment?
Thank you, President Kathy. So, your Rotary pin can be a great conversation starter. Are you prepared with a meaningful answer when somebody asks you about your pin or wonders what Rotary is all about? Here's one idea of what you could say. In my Rotary Club, we are all friends working together to do great things. Well, that's nice. It's important to show and not just tell. How about this? In my Rotary Club, we are all friends working together to do great things. Last week, we said farewell to our exchange student, Sarah from Denmark, whom we sponsored this past year. She lived with 3 host families and went to Annalee High School. I'm gonna miss her. Better, yes? So, I challenge you all to prepare yourselves with your own meaningful answer to the question about your pin and what is Rotary. and be prepared to answer in an inspiring way that's true for you.
Well, I'm not going to be checking for pins today.
Fine.
$5.
All right. Okay, well, I have to do some business real quick. We haven't raised the dues in 6 years, and this room, they raise our rent every year, and obviously inflation. So the board voted on raising the dues $40, and you had a choice of, instead of the $335, paying $355, and then having $20 in fines for the year, or just paying the whole thing. If you pay the whole thing, then you can just pass it to somebody. So I'm not gonna pay it so that people can pass it to me too.
I'm paid.
We'll see about that.
Cook the books.
We'll see.
That was your first opportunity.
I know. Well, so anyway, to that end, I would like to have a vote, all in favor for a dues increase of $40 a year.
So officially call the business meeting into order.
Business meeting is called to order. I'd like a show of hands of everybody that is in favor of a $40 a year increase. Okay? We're good. We're good. All right. And we now officially close the business meeting. Any nays? Linda wants to know if there are any nays. We got Linton, we got one. That's okay, that's good. $5 to Linton, our first of the year.
I support this.
Sorry. That was too good. That was like you waiting with the phone going off. It was just too easy. Okay. Happy birthday to Michael Cook, born on the 4th of July. Wow.
What an explosion.
How was your birthday? Do we have a microphone handy?
Fireworks.
It was lovely, yes, fireworks went off. We went up to my brother-in-law's house in Healdsburg. He has a deck that overlooks the valley, and we could see the fireworks in Healdsburg really nicely, and it was great. It wasn't all fogged in, and it was wonderful. So that was my celebration.
And you weren't at the coast then?
President Kathy, I think I read on Facebook that it was Alicia's birthday last week.
How did you not get, oh, you must not have gotten on my calendar.
New member.
Alicia's right here, Michael.
Thank you. I worked and I also went with a few family members to Blue Ridge.
We're going to have to do a vocation talk, so we learn about you. All right. And, so happy anniversary, another July 4th.
Not 1996. So it's 44 years, and we also had fireworks. And we were camping, and then we came back from camping, so. Yep. You can't forget the anniversary. And we were married in the forest by Peacock. So that's really true. We were married at Armstrong Woods and by Reverend Peacock.
Oh, you don't forget that. Is Jim here?
Which one?
Still here.
There's three.
Maybe he was the 1996. All right, let's do some announcements. Right, Nicole? Any announcements?
Here's an announcement
We
here.
got one.
First, very short. The badge box has been updated. So some of you are in a slightly different slot than you were. There's new numbers on the back of your badge. So you can hopefully connect the number on your badge with the slot in the box. Some people have trouble with that. There's a directory here. One side is alphabetical by member's name, so you have to remember what your last name, what letter it is. And the other side is by the number in the box.
Thank you. We got Michael.
So we have a community service project coming up on the 21st and 22nd of this month. We're going to be cleaning the lobby of the art center, and then on Friday the 21st, and then on Saturday the 22nd, we are going to put a fresh coat of paint on it. So we need probably 7 or 8 volunteers. We'll get a sign-up sheet going, but just kind of remember those dates, Friday the 21st and Saturday the 22nd. Thank you.
Switching modes to the gratitude side, I'm grateful that Frank Bauer is going to go visit a telemedicine project in the Philippines. He leaves later today, right? Wow. And be there also for a family reunion. Want to add anything to this?
Yeah, it'd be pretty, it's because of COVID, it changed the family reunion like 4 years in a row. So super excited to go, and just added one more. There's a really big waste management company right in the middle. There'll be a little bit of business in there too. So 10 days total. Good.
Yeah, I just want to express my gratitude for my partner Wee being accepted by the UC Davis kidney transplant program. So, yeah.
Good morning. So I'm going to be, I'm grateful that I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks. I'm going
It's a tough crowd.
I'm like Danger Roddenfield. I get no respect. I will be up in Alaska with my brother-in-law and my nephew, catching salmon and halibut and rockfish, hopefully some lingcod, and having a great time. Oh no. Michael asked catch and release, not in your life. Also grateful that last night I was able to take Maxine and my sister and myself in to see Les Mis at the Orpheum in San Francisco. Oh my gosh, if you have any free time, you have to go. It is just, bring some Kleenex, but oh my God, the lighting on it is just unbelievable, as well as the acting and the singing, and the sets were just astounding. Just a great production.
And my announcement is this year's first SCART meeting, yeah. Well, it's on the 27th at Boletto's. The flyers are over there on the desk, or at the round table, so you're all invited.
27?
27th.
Last Thursday of the month. It's in the slide deck, Nick.
And the handouts are there.
All right. We've got a secret word of the day. I've got a hint up there. I know. You're already the speakers.
Is there a prize?
Mike. Marty.
Yes? Put your phone down.
Yes? That's Oliver, that's correct. We were at scout camp yesterday for the day, and they had a team come in from outside the area to inspect the camp, and it passed in flying colors. And interesting, there was a very petite young lady who, you know, we do have girls are part of the scouting program now. And she had been a Cub Scout, and I asked her, well, where are you from? She said, I'm from New Jersey. And I said, well, how did you get here? And her grandparents live here. And they sent her to scout camp by herself to be with, you know, a troop that they just put her in with. But it was kind of interesting to see that. But a very nice event. So we enjoyed going. Oliver did get into wouldn't go in Joe's pool, but he did get into the river at the waterfront yesterday.
Pass the swim test?
Thanks for your service. And thanks to Brian Purcell, he's leading the food bank, and they're going to be meeting until the end of the year on the fourth Thursday of the month. This is a photo of the last group. I thought it was sort of a fun picture.
Very cool. It was very pretty.
All right. And let's not forget, Joe Gazowitz is in charge of the lobster. Oh, it's not really the lobster boil, is it? It's the main event. I keep forgetting that. So let's start thinking of auction items, silent auction items. Do you want to get a table? That kind of thing.
Save the date.
Sponsors. Save the date. All right. And we've already talked about it. Oh! First Friday at Linden Gyms, and I looked in the calendar, and that weekend is Linden's birthday. Ha ha ha! All right. And just, you know, the first Monday of the month, community service, second Monday of the month, membership, third Monday of the month, board of director meeting. And we always meet every Monday morning for anyone that wants to hike. So that's sort of cool. And the district governor, Tom Boylan, became district governor. Jennifer Strong handed it over, so that was really cool. And I got to really know Tom at Pets. We had a lot of fun. And
We helped him, Oliver.
And at Pets, they announced the new theme this year, which is hope. And that's really cool. And just a little bit about hope is as the international president, which is his theme of hope, creating hope in the world, it promotes peace, it focuses on mental health. And Rotary helps the conditions for peace, opportunity, and a future worth living by continuing what we do best by remaining open and willing to change and keeping our focus on building peace in the world and within ourselves. Rotary helps create a more peaceful world, a more hopeful world. And I wish I could talk with a Scottish accent, or brogue, because that's how he would be saying it. I know, I should have had Rod do that. And Dan couldn't be with us today because he's in Brookings, Oregon, and this is him at a version of Peacetown. And Sarah right now is is she just done with her Western Safari and going home tomorrow, I think, David?
Oh, she's already home, she left on the 8th.
Oh, the 8th, okay. So this was her on her safari trip. And coming up, Patrick and Ellie went to Japan. And would someone like to introduce him, or am I introducing? Okay. Patrick, come on up. He's going to share with us his travels in Japan. And thank you very much for my first 30 minutes of the first year.
Patrick is a bit of a layout, so it's okay to tell him.
So, before we start, we're going to steal 5 minutes from Patrick. Terry, would you come up and join me?
Sure. Thank you, Bill. Many of you have met, and we saw last Friday again at Kentucky. Uncle Roy came and joined us, and he's been with us, living with us since December, I think, and has been pretty involved with Rotary. Comes to a lot of meetings whenever he can. And we'd like to, honey, so would you mind escorting your uncle up for us? Stand over here. Don't stand on the other side.
Yeah, something that fall back.
So, he doesn't know what's going on. I just said, gotta get up at 6 o'clock, and he went, it's 2 hours early. So, Paul Harris Fellow is, as we know, an important part of Rotary and work Rotary does over the world. Between Bill and us, Bill and I, we have been able to make Roy a Paul Harris Fellow. And so we're going to present that today. His story briefly while we're getting, did you get that out? While we're getting these things out, is at the age, when he turned 18, he went enlisted in the Marines. It was 18 because his mother wouldn't let him do it earlier. And this was in 1950, and he, 51, 52, 51. And I should know this by now. April 11, 1951.
It's okay, Roy. He's getting older.
It's catchy. Anyway, he did boot camp at Camp Pendleton. At one point, went to the Winter Warfare Training Center, which many of you have been by, but don't know what it is. And it's on the eastern side of the Sierras, over Highway 108. And there's a little Marine training base there. And when it's cold there, they train Marines how to fight in snow. And we were there last year, and it's really built out and very nice. When Roy was there, he said there was that hill. We slept on the ground in tents in that hill, and we had to climb that hill every day. And just always just climb the hill. So, but being the first class to go through that, kind of holds a special honor. He's referred to as a flank holder. And so I look at today at the theme that's going to announce create hope in the world. And Roy has done that really most of his life through his service to our country, is working with Marines that are returning from combat or on their way out to combat, and helps talk certainly the young men and women who are injured start that healing process. He started doing that about 20 years ago, and he's had a tremendous impact and continues to do that type of volunteer work. After that, after he got out of the service, he worked for the Forest Service in Truckee, and his uncle was running the Forest Service operation out of Truckee and spent 20 years fighting fires. Rousey hippies, probably been a few of us, out of campgrounds, and generally helping with the health and well-being of visitors to the area. And again, tremendous work, giving back, giving people that they don't get caught. Hope they don't get caught by the crappy old ranger again, but help them through that. And just fast forward to 2019, when the campfire burst out in Paradise. Roy got a call at 8 o'clock in the morning, said, "Get the hell out of town." And he didn't question it because he fought fires. And they got outside and the fire was right there. And when you see those scenes of people driving down to Chico, taking them 6 hours, they were one of them. And so they have been through a lot. They've done a lot. They've relocated twice now since Paradise, and they finally settled in Clovis, California last August 16th. His wife Carol passed away. And fast forward, here we are. So Roy is deserving of this. I am appreciative to Bill, to Ryan, to those of us who have helped Roy feel welcome at all of our events. And so here's the, so you want to pin the pin? You're going to get pinned another one.
So, please welcome. Brother Paul Sebastopol.
Okay, and here's something here for your wall, your collection thing. And there's one more thing Bill wants to do for you.
One other little thing. Roy joined us. Roy joined us earlier this year on our part of the Old Lord Relay. I just heard from the National Team RWB organization. It's an organization that supports veterans. And the whole event took a flag that had been flying in Iraq, flew it over to Seattle, and then took it through on 50 days, person to person to person to person to person, from Seattle all the way to Atlanta, where they, on Armed Forces Day, handed it over. And the total event raised over $100,000. Our little team of 4 was the 5th highest placing.
Nice.
And thanks to many of you who donated. And Carrie Benefield at the PD was nice enough to come out, interview us. She talked to Roy. She did a video clip, and she wrote up this great article. So we had it printed up, and that's something else to put on your wall. Right?
I appreciate that. Tell you one thing, this is like coming home. My great-grandparents, my grandparents have lived here for years. All of my grandfather's children were born here. I was born in Santa Rosa. So this to me is homecoming. And I am proud to be here, and I appreciate being welcomed like I have, but I'm not used to that.
BJ? Come on, BJ. All right. Sorry about that.
At debunking, I had the pleasure of sitting with Roy for quite a long time, and we have a lot of connections, including trips. We've been in the same area in Alaska and Canada, and it's a pleasure talking to Roy and learning a bit about his story. So thank you very much for your service. It's incredible. Good morning. I wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you for having me here today, as well as my wife Ellie. We both went on this trip to Japan. And I wanted to share some of our thoughts about this trip. We went together with a couple that we have traveled a lot with in various countries in the world. And fortunately, thank you very much. Fortunately, Masako and Wesley, who I've known since I was 19 in San Francisco, Masako was born in Tokyo, and obviously a native speaker, and I want to tell you what a difference it made on this trip. One of the reasons, and of the many reasons we went there, is we wanted to do a lot of hiking, and so we did through the countryside. We like to hike volcanoes. There's tough walks up there, so this was an opportunity to go up there. We were there at cold time, and when we went up to Hokkaido, what we were doing up there is we were into bird watching. There's specific species up there, and we went to see them. You can't go to Japan without getting involved with the Buddhists and the Shintoists, and we certainly took advantage of going to as many of these kinds of temples as possible. We wanted to meet people in a lot of varieties, in lots of different ways, and just as circumstances come up, we would chat with them and get involved with their scene. This is a lady that was a presenter, and she was getting all creamed up to look as beautiful as possible on stage. We're into food. We searched out different places to have in restaurants. This is a famous tempura restaurant that we found to our liking. We wanted to have experiences with the Japanese, and this was an opportunity to put together. We dyed some scarves, so we worked with these ladies, and it was so fun. Onsens, hot mineral hot baths. We were there to search those out. We were fortunate that we were at the right time of the year for sakura, which is the cherry blossoms on the trees that go throughout all of Japan. So a little bit about Japan. Japan has 4 main islands, and we were on 3 of them. We were up in the far north in Hokkaido, and we ended up down at the very bottom in Kyushu for activities, and then we were in the central part where Tokyo, Yokohama, Kyoto, all those are. But in there we were in Nara, the ancient capital of Japan, a terrific place. I want to point out a couple of things. All the green that you see there is really the mountainous region. There are about 70% volcanoes and mountains in that country. They have not as much arable land as we do. Consequently, they have to import a lot of their own foods and things. I do want to point out one last thing and move along. Their neighbors. You can see Russia, China, and North Korea are right in their backyard. So this was our route. We came in red to Tokyo, Yokohama. We went up north to Hokkaido, and then we dropped out way south to Kyushu, did some things there, finished off in Nara, the ancient capital, and then came home. Now Japan is about the size of California, but it has a population of almost 130 million folks. So that's quite a big density, but the majority live in the big cities that you know about. So, we were certainly there to explore as much of the nature as we could. Up in Hokkaido, this is the only slide, by the way, that's not Ellie's or mine or Wes's pictures that we took, but it's so beautiful. This is a winter scene of red-crowned cranes that come from Siberia and spend the winter here in Hokkaido. This is my poor rendition of it with an iPhone. But this is what they look like. They've got this beautiful red crown. They're revered in Japan. You've seen pictures and paintings and things like that. They're very iconic. But they have other things there, like this Blankenship's fishing owl, the biggest owl in the world. We had an opportunity to see him. Eagles abound, Ural owls. And this is a shot of whooper swans that are in a little hot pocket on this little lake here. And my little iPhone rendition of one. I like the artsy thing. Squirrels, foxes, lots of other things, lots of deers and stags. They have beautiful bamboo forests. It's just such a pleasure to hike in there, and discoveries of different kinds of plants. Camphor trees, as we love our redwood trees, they love their camphor trees, and you can see a little bit of gratitude for that tree, which is hundreds of years old. Agricultural fields, beautiful. And it was cherry blossom season, and I love the composition that I took against that forest. I mentioned 70% is volcanoes and mountains. You can see every site that are like that. And hiking up there one time to that 1,700 meter volcano, you pass through active areas. They are on the Ring of Fire, and you remember Fukushima. But they are very much in tune with their nature. They've conquered a lot of part of it, but they still spend a lot of time revering and paying attention to nature itself. So a little bit about what we found the culture of Japan. Most of the Japanese, they're being a homogenous society, they're mostly Buddhist, or they're mostly Shinto folks, or they're both, because everything revolves around spirituality, and everything has spirit to the Japanese. And Buddhism is very big and practiced there. And there's so many areas that have these kinds of walkways and torii gates that are very defining of their personality. Just beautiful little areas like this, just mating these rocks together. And I want to point out that people who visit, they like to send a prayer up to Buddha. They might be graduating from school, they might be getting married, they've got a job coming up. They want to give a little bit of thanks and a little bit of a plea to help out. And here's another way that they do that with a little messaging. A Shinto temple. This is an area, these are called Jizos, and they represent the ancestors of folks that live in this area. And this is a modern day one. This is a tribute to their relatives, and it's right on the walkway. It's just very common to come across these in lots of different places. We're on a high hill hike, and in a little crevice, there's these little effigies of these little Jizos that they placed. Little Buddhist cemetery, kind of packed in together. I suppose they're cremated, right? What?
Keep going.
Besides all of that, the castle's feudalism was huge there. You remember Shogun and all those kinds of things, and the samurai. This is the castle in Osaka, very renowned. Well, culturally, besides all the respect that they show and the gentleness and everything, they're the cleanest folks you're going to ever come across. You don't walk on any floor without coming from the outside without taking off your shoes. And I want to point out that they always place the shoes as if they're leaving. So they always turn them around. They don't just send them off. They are very deliberate about what they do. This is a shot of a cleaning station. You sit on that little stool, you use that bucket, you use the water, and you make yourself meticulously clean so that you can now be worthy of entering into a hot water mineral area. There's very, very many of them in Japan because of all the volcanics. There's places that are along rivers. We couldn't take pictures because it was denied, but this is a little spot. And after that cleaning, you're able to drop in and have a great soak. They revere animals. The cats are a theme throughout all of Japan. In Nara, it's interesting. Their Buddhist sect came up hundreds of years ago of revering deer, and there are parks in Nara that are laid out for them, and there's hundreds of them just walking around. People come and visit, buy a little bit of food, and it was always striking to see the Japanese do a little respectful bow before they offered up the food to the deer. It was very sweet. Food. Survival food, beautiful food. It's an amazing country. Buckwheat noodles have been a survivor food. And this is the temple abbot's son who hand makes his buckwheat noodles for folks. It is a really beautiful process. We really had an engaging time with him doing that. I want to point out this cultural aspect. Rice. Rice is the only staple, really, maybe the only commodity that Japan actually has enough for its own population. Everything else is imported. Rice is the way of life, and it's gohan, but it's called ogohan, meaning honorific, the best. And all Japanese are learned to clean their bowls so that there's not a single speck of rice left in that bowl. They have a technique with their chopstick where they keep moving it around to the bottom and then finish it off. And she was sitting next to Ellie and I at breakfast, and I said, "Would you mind showing me your bowl?" And there it was. Masako told us all about that earlier, and here we are with slop around the bowl, and there's Masako with absolute cleanliness. It was an amazing cultural challenge. So many people like to come to Japan and be Japanese. So there are a lot of Chinese come over, and a lot of Koreans, that sort of thing, and they love dressing up and dolling it out for the day. And here's a couple of Americans that came over and dressed up. So unami, I had that in my presentation. Unami is really, how we doing? Umami. Umami. Oh, I keep saying the end, sorry. Umami. And it really means deliciousness. So, we're into deliciousness. Linda's and Kay's into deliciousness. Jim's in, how am I looking at you?
I think this whole room is.
Perfect. This is a breakfast. And I know we all have cereal or toast or a muffin, right? Not in Japan. There's 4 courses, and all of these foods blend so well together, and that's the umami part that it exists. Just small little dishes, every one of them different, every one of them delicious. This is an opportunity to do your own with a balanced meal. And Russ and Masako doing that. We got to do dress up. It wasn't Halloween, but we got to get into our yukatas and have a wonderful dinner. And Ellie had her 70th birthday. This is her birthday dinner. And this is a 4-pack. This is all of our meal for a lunch. Everything is quintessential. It's just beautifully presented. Sake drinking, of course. Even street food is cool. Iconic okonomiyaki. This is the food that helped save people in Nagasaki and Hiroshima in 1945. They didn't have anything to eat, and they put everything they could. It's like stone soup. But now it's become a classic in Japan. It's a terrific dish. Sushi. This is presented to us at an airport. I mean, everywhere has terrific food. So I wanted to say about another cultural item of that, and that's kawaii. It's not Hawaii. It's kawaii, and what it is it means lovely, lovable, cute, adorable, and it's a culture of cuteness in Japan. There's so much into that. So I'm going to show you a few collages, and you can pick out the different photos. They do like to dress up, don't they? My favorite of all of them is this young lad who's doing his homework at Starbucks wearing a puppy sweatshirt. So we did meet a lot of good folks. Any opportunity, thank God we had Masako, so she could start to engage them, we could be asking questions. This gentleman just loves to take photos and give them away to folks. This is our avid son who got into the game. We pulled him out of the shell, and he was glad to have a little fun with us. bird watching group in Nara. We went to an old Japanese toy museum where the gentleman, the curator, was happy to show us all the toys. We got to play with them. We were there for a couple of hours, playing with the kids and playing with the toys. You can see my haircut right now. When I go to a barber, I pull this out of my phone and I show him a picture of George Clooney. No one of my barbers has ever been able to replicate the face. It's sad, but it's true. But I showed this to a barber that we found in a little section in Nara, and she was gleefully happy to give me a haircut. I've never had my whole head and face shaved, but it did happen. We went to a coffee shop, and the ladies there, the servers, I let them know that I'm George Clooney, and they wanted to take a picture with me. This lady was, we just went for a hike. We were out of control. We needed a ride. We begged a ride, and she gave it to us. These are the ladies that had the scarf dyeing business. And the second to last is just a group that we met at a park, just had a wonderful time engaging with them, and of course, it's like, take pictures with the guy, Gene. We had an opportunity because we went to Nagasaki and we stopped off in our sister city, Sebastopol's sister city, Takeo, and we went into the administration area and drug out the administrator of the program that connects us with them. And very much like our Rotary International, they have exchange students that go over there, and then they have students that come over here. Shorter period of time, of course. So some travel tips. Well, if you can, go with somebody who speaks Japanese. Because Masako, she would say, do the right thing in Japanese or else. And so she let us know how to keep our fingers and toes going in the right direction. Obviously, learn some phrases. They're so polite that learning polite phrases really works. Google Translate, everybody's using it. Get a guide. You might be at a hotel, want to take a walking tour, do something like that. JR is one of the major railway systems. They have a pass for tourists. Take them up on it. It makes a difference in the amount of money that you end up paying. Their train system is the best in the world. You cannot find anything like that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to be sick. They love it. And I'll leave you some slides of Sakura. And I'll leave you with Tomodachi domo arigato gozaimasu. Friends, thank you very much.
If anyone ever saw that movie with what movie was that? The two stars, you know, where she's in Japan. Not Lost in Translation. It's way older than that anyway. It's not Rosalind Russell. Is it Rosalind Russell? Yeah. And what's the guy's name? Alec Guinness. And he's Japanese. She isn't. So he'd say something, and then she'd say, "Oh, like you're welcome. Don't touch my mustache." Yeah. So anyway, there we go. So do we have raffle tickets today? We do. Okay, Terry, come on up. We're close.
You got $53 in the pot.
$53 in the pot.
Sounds.
I'll manage the mic. Terry, you want a microphone?
Huh? Thank you. All right. Oh. Debunking leftovers?
We got debunking leftovers here. So if anyone left a spoon.
So we need the most honest person in the room, not the speaker.
We don't have a lot of time, pick anybody.
How about Ellie?
Ellie is, just go ahead, stick me in there.
Give my
Shut up. Thanks. Oops. All right, our winning 214, we all do that. 276. Hey, Lynn.
Yay! See, Linton, and you voted against it. And you got $51. Give $5 to the table, by the way.
We know where that is.
Okay, joke of the day. Marble. Oh, I thought you already won it, darn.
So you get,
Darn. Okay, I rescind the 5.
we owe something, we owe lottery tickets for not taking the drawing.
Or something.
Or something. You need something.
Okay. Oh, and I've got something. I've got something for each of you, actually. And I'll start with Patrick. And Patrick, you'll be the first official person to have the Pen of Hope. Yeah, and I've got one for you, Linton. And so, joke of the day, Wayne.
So, a photon's going through security at the airport, and the agent asks him, "Where's your luggage?" And he says, "I'm traveling white."
And away we go. Who's gonna lead us in song?
Happy trails to you, until